Okay, so let's finish Ruth 113. Previous video we did just the beginning of 113. Let's finish it. So see if you can pronounce this Hebrew. Here's how I would pronounce it. Halahain te'agena la vilti heyot la ish. Okay, what do you recognize? Well, we saw this earlier, I think in the previous verse. Lahain is therefore, and then the he is like he. It's a question mark. It's an interrogative he. Will therefore, or something like that. The will actually comes from the second word, but I'm going to go ahead and put it here, so we know what's going on. Therefore, this is ta'agena, which is a bit of a challenge, but let's look at it here. So we've got a tav on the front and a na on the end. We've seen that several times. Remember, Naomi is talking to two women, and so it is a second feminine plural. The tav on the front, the na on the end, 1-2 punch is a hint that it's a y'all, and it's referring to women. So we're only left with two letters after we've done that. And so what's the third letter? Well, as it turns out, let me go ahead and pull the accordion out. If we have the te on the front and the na on the end and the agi in the middle, what is it? Well, it turns out it's agan, and the nun has, I assume, assimilated. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's not a good assumption because it would be doubled then. Anyway, this nun, and I welcome your comments. It seems to be doing double duty. It's the nun of the na, and it seems to be the nun of agan. Anyway, it is what it is. Why isn't it doubled? I don't know. I would have wanted it to be doubled, but it's not. So I'll take what I can get. But anyway, it is agan, and it means to refrain. And because it's a tav na, a 1-2 punch, it's second feminine plural. Second feminine from the tav, and then the plural here. Now, the tav here is a performative. And so it's an imperfect here. Tiktolna is the kind of the pattern form. So it is imperfect, and that's a performative. It's second feminine performative, and then plural with the na on the end. So it's will you two refrain? Will y'all women, will y'all women refrain? Now, there's one other thing about this particular word. It is a Niph'al stem, or an N stem, the passive stem normally, although it doesn't seem to really have a passive meaning here. You basically have to look up what a stem means in the end. So you go to Gazanius or whatever, Blue Letter Bible, and you click on it, and it says, oh, in the end stem it means refrain. And you say, okay, I believe you. And so, but how would you know it's an N stem? That's the question. And this is particularly hard. This is particularly hard because normally the way that you tell that a imperfect is an N stem, the way you normally tell that is because the first consonant will double. The nun will assimilate when no vowel separates, and you'll have a doubled first consonant. But the first consonant here is an ayin. An ayin is a guttural, and I don't do doubling. It's not in my contract. I'm a guttural. And so what are we going to do here? Well, here's all I can tell you. In the paradigm for the imperfect of the Niph'al, I have a song to, I think, Amazing Grace. And at this particular part of the song, it's Yiktol, Yikatel, Yukatel. Anyway, the Yikatel, which is what I have right down here, is the model form for, actually, that should be doubled. Hold on a second. Poof, there it is. Yeah, that should be doubled. Yikatel. So there's the doubled first consonant. Okay, now let's compare the vowels of this to the vowels of the earth here. So instead of a hirik, we have a sere. Well, that makes sense because the ayin didn't do doubling, and we have compensatory lengthening. And so the hirik, that's normal, it lengthened to a sere because of compensatory lengthening. So far, check. The doubled consonant, why isn't it there? Because it's an ayin. So I can explain that. Check. Kamatz under the first consonant. Check. Sarai under the second consonant. Check. So the vowels here, and I'm sorry that we have to go on the vowels. I hate that. But going on the vowels, an N or Niph'al makes sense. So that's how you would know it's a Niph'al. I'm sorry, it's not nice. So therefore will you refrain from. Now this is an awful lot to mean from, but I think that's basically, I mean, there's a lot here. There's a lamed, there's a hirik yod, but let's go with from, shall we? As a preposition. It's a big preposition for Hebrew, to be honest. That will therefore you refrain from to be to a husband? Are you going to not get married? Are you just going to be celibate the rest of your life? Are you going to not have any children and be barren the rest of your life when you could have children? And having children is a big deal in the ancient Near East if you're a woman. So this is Naomi's question to Ruth and Orpah, I think it is. So heyot, the hey and the yod has me thinking, this is hayah. This is the verb to be. From being is another way to translate it. Third hey, hayah. The hey is a vowel letter. It's like a puff of smoke. It's not real. It's not real. There's nothing behind the hey. And so the ot is typical for the infinitive construct to kind of hold that puppy down, ballast it. The hey, it'll float away, but it's an anchor. We have an anchor in the ot. And so this is the infinitive construct, call infinitive construct, G infinitive construct, whatever you want to call it, of hayah. And then to a husband. La is to, ish is husband. All right. So there you have the first part of 113. Verse 13, is that what we're on? I think so. Okay, can you pronounce this next line to the verse? I think it's not quite the last line. Here's how I would pronounce it. Al banayot, I'm sorry, al banayat, banotai ki mar li ma'od mekem. Okay. So all I know is the negative command word. So no, she says, no, don't do it. Not. Let not. Don't, I think is how I translate it. Don't, my daughters. We've seen this before. Banot is daughter, and then the patak yod is my daughter, the first common singular possessive. Don't, my daughters. Ki, conjunction, junction. Do not, for mar, it is bitter to me. Me'od, it is very bitter to me. I forget Marah. Is Marah a place of waters? I forget where Marah. Hold on a second. Okay, so Exodus 15, they drink the water. It's Marah. By the way, a woman who's suspected of having committed adultery drinks Marah, and I think it causes a miscarriage in Numbers. I don't know if there's any connection here with them not having children. But anyway, I don't know. See a commentary on Ruth. But basically, mar, this is from a verb, marar. It's a geminate. It's the resh is twice in the vocabulary form. But a lot of times, why have two reshes when one will do? And so this is, it is bitter. Something like third masculine singular, it is bitter. It is bitter to me, very. It is very bitter to me from y'all. This whole thing with you all, it's not sitting well with me. I feel bad. I feel guilty. Here, you're my daughters. You married my sons. My sons died. My husband died. What have I feel like I've done horrible by you all. It is bitter, very bitter to me in relation to you all. That's my sense of what Naomi is saying. Don't come with me, my daughters. Don't be single the rest of your life, my daughters, for it is bitter to me very from y'all. And this is mem, hirik, doubling, because the nun assimilates when no vowel separates. Again, kem is normally the second masculine plural ending from y'all men, but we have consistently seen in Ruth, Naomi has used this masculine plural. It should be meken, I think. But anyway, Naomi's allowed. We can't tell her what to say. If she wants to say Makam when it should be Makam, and anyway, forget the accent. Basically, there ain't nothing our grammar teachers can do about the way way people talk. I mean, they can try, rulers, smack, but language goes where it wants to. And Naomi likes to use the second masculine plural, talking to two women for some reason. So don't, my daughters, for it is very bitter to me in relation to y'all. Ki yatza'ah vi yad Yahweh. So, for it went out in me, on me, the hand of Yahweh. Basically, the hand of Yahweh has been against me, and that's very bitter. It's a very bitter thing. But ki is for, yatza'ah is the call perfect third feminine singular of yatzah, to go out. The kamatz hey is where the third feminine singular. Why is it feminine? Because hand is feminine, yad. Yad is feminine even though it doesn't look feminine. That can happen, especially with really ancient words, very primitive words, very basic words. Sometimes, maybe they existed before the grammar got its act together. And so yad is feminine even though it doesn't look that way. But yatzah is clearly feminine, and the kamatz hey says so. So, for the hand of Yahweh went out upon me. Bet is in or on. Yod is the first common singular object, me. Yad is construct. You can see it has a short vowel. It's connected by a makaf, so this is all one sound, as it were, one unit of speaking. The short vowel is often a hint of a construct, because in a construct, the length gets sucked out. And that's where the of comes from. Okay, well, I've talked a lot here. Let me see if I can summarize it. Will therefore you refrain from being with a husband? Don't do it, my daughters, for it is very bitter to me already in relation to you all, for the hand of God has gone out on me. He smacked me up. Smack. At least that's the way it felt. But of course, the story's not over, and we will continue to read Ruth, Lord willing.